The theme, the blue skies, the puffy clouds, the first Goomba, the first super mushroom, fire flower, and star. The panic you felt when the timer fell below 100. Each Koopa castle. The princess not being there. World 2-2. King Koopa before he became known as Bowser. The bizarre boss known as Wart. Those very precious 1-up mushrooms. The leaf power-up and the ability to fly for a short while. Warp Zone. Warp whistles. These are some of the many, many memories one might have playing the first few games of Nintendo's most well-recognized franchise. It began 30 years ago when the character known as Jumpman from Donkey Kong got his own game and was given a brother who was decked in green. The brothers Mario are still going strong 3 decades later and show absolutely no signs of stopping. This is how we'll begin Season 5 of Downloadable Content, celebrating this fun franchise that'll continue all year long. Naturally, though, one must start at the beginning. It's the start of the ultimate nostalgia trip for many of us. So let's go down the warp pipe. All this next on Downloadable Content. Welcome to Season 5 of Downloadable Content. I am Brian, and with me we have Ron.
Hello, everyone.
We have Reid.
Hello.
And out from cryogenic stasis well before E3, we have Sir Joshi.
Ahoy hoy.
Oh, he's changed his greeting. He's gone from hello to ahoy hoy.
Oh, damn it.
Listen, last time we had that happen, we had like 5 million lawsuits. We're not going to deal with that bullshit anymore.
I don't want to do any more takes, guys.
Like, no. But yes, we have the start of Season 5. Thank you all out there on the wide world of the internet for listening. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. Hope you did a lot of gaming. Hope you got a lot of games. I know I certainly did, which was very surprising to me. But before we get going, let's get the mandatory plugs out of the way. Downloadable content can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. You can get a hold of us a variety of ways at Facebook at facebook.com/DLContent, on Twitter at DLContent, on Tumblr at dlcpodcasts.tumblr.com, and of course, you can always email us dlcontent1@gmail.com. So all the different ways to get downloadable content into your ears.
Basically, it's on the internet.
Yes, very good. Very good, Joshy. How astute of you to make that observation.
What is this internet you speak of?
Ask Al Gore.
Well, it involves trucks.
And
Tubes.
and everything is up there in a million pieces. So.
I don't want to be turned into a Wonka bar.
Oh, why not?
Because
Okay, who broke the
that sounds like a way to go.
It's chocolatey goodness. Oh, well, whatever.
So this is the Sonic episode, right? That's why I'm here.
Yes, although, you know, I've watched you and your trials and tribulations with Sonic, especially the more recent games.
It's both great and the worst part of my life so far.
What was it? You bought like Sonic 2006, and you're like, some idiot paid for this.
Yeah.
The 2 weeks later, he posted Sonic and the Seven Rings and Sonic Unleashed or something like that, the werewolf one. It's like, some idiot bought these for me too.
Yeah, I'm on Adventure 2 at the moment, but I've got those games to come up. And some arsehole recently told me that the Wii version and the PS3 360 version of Sonic Unleashed are pretty different. So I'm going to have to play that game twice.
Oh, jeez. My understanding was Sonic Unleashed, the daytime hour one actually wasn't bad. The nighttime one was one that was sucked the ass.
Last thing about Sonic, though, is Joshy, why are you doing this exactly?
So I recently moved into a house with one of my friends, and I made this innocuous, uninformed comment about 7 years ago that I thought Sonic games all sucked, and the one game I picked was Sonic Adventure, based on opinions of other people because I had never played it. And he held a grudge and is now forcing me to play through every Sonic game. And the irony is, I actually really liked Sonic Adventure.
Womp womp.
So when I complete Adventure 2, I think I'm halfway, but then it just gets really bad.
Then you'll have to go through all of the Game Gear games.
No. I'm only playing through the console games.
Okay.
I'll let you all know how awesome Sonic Boom is.
Okay. Once you've blown your head off, then come back to us.
Yeah.
But this is this is Mario, so I'm going to steer this back across the console line war.
Before the war even began.
Before the war even began. Oh yes. Definitely. I mean,
Before there was a Sonic, there was a Mario.
There was a Mario, yes, but there was a time when Nintendo ruled all. And it was, for 5-year-old me, who could never get past, like, World 3 of the original Mario Brothers, this was interesting. And, I never really beat these games until I was, late teen, early adult, because, 5-year-old me, the sheer difficulty of these games back then.
So what's the, round the group, who's completed which games? Because I've only ever completed Mario 1.
I have beaten all the ones we are going to mention today, except for Lost Levels.
I haven't completed Lost Levels. I've completed the first one. I completed the very bizarre second one. Did not complete the third one, and of course, Super Mario World.
Oh yes, that will be on the next part of our Mario celebration. We'll get into the Super Nintendo.
I've beaten Mario 1. I've beaten US Mario 2. I have a story for Mario 3. I will save that. I will save what happened for my Mario 3 play.
Please do.
And I've beaten Super Mario Land.
God, I really suck.
Oh, right. I forgot about Land.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right in. I mean, for many of us, I know that for me personally, Super Mario Brothers 1 was the very first video game I played. And for a lot of my friends, this is also true. I mean, Mario was very likely the first game. This is what introduced you to video games. And, the rest, as they say, is history. That's the end of the episode. No,
I don't know how.
I literally don't remember playing a game before Mario 1. I don't know how an NES and Mario 1 got into my house, but it's the first game I remember playing.
Memory serves, someone correct me on this, I'm pretty sure for the US console, for the US release of Nintendo, the NES, they packaged it with the console itself, one controller or two? I think it's two controllers.
Yeah, I think that was still back in the days when Nintendo was extremely generous with their...
Yeah. I think it was two controllers, and then you had the ray gun, too.
The Zapper.
The Zapper, yeah. And then you got a cartridge that was both Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Yes.
And obviously, Duck Hunt was the better game.
And now you can play as the Duck Hunt dog. But anyway,
Yeah, I think the very first video game I played was actually on a Game Boy. So I think my intro to video games was Tetris, followed quickly after that by Mario Land.
That's also not
And then-
surprising. I mean, I remember getting my first Game Boy when I was 6, so I mean, that wasn't far behind. So,
Yeah, not at all.
Super Mario Brothers 1, and 1985, it introduced, as we all know, so many of the things, so many of the ideas that would basically become part of just about every single Mario game in the franchise. Like the power-ups, the mushrooms, the stars, the fire flower, fucking Princess Peach.
So hang on, I know there's the whole Peach and Daisy thing. Is Peach actually in the first game?
Yes.
She's referred to as Princess Toadstool.
Princess Toadstool,
But that
Yeah.
is Peach.
That is Peach, yes.
Okay, so who is Daisy?
Daisy we'll get to.
Okay,
Daisy made her first appearance in the Game Boy Super Mario Land.
right.
So that we will get to in the second half. But yes, Daisy is not from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh, of course, we've all seen the movie.
different land, different princess.
Yep. So, you had, the idea you have Princess Peach getting kidnapped by Bowser. Well, at the time he was called King Koopa.
Mm-hmm.
That was the story. The idea of the 8 worlds. Nintendo loves that number 8. And of course...
Didn't Koopa also not have hair at that time?
No, he did not have. He just had his
Pixels.
spike skull.
He had pixels.
Yeah.
Remember, this was 8-bit gaming. You couldn't get that fine level of detail.
He didn't. I don't think he had hair, but I'm pretty sure he had the spike shell.
He did.
Yes. Yeah.
He did, and he had, anytime you got into that boss level, that, World Dash 4, you could always tell you were getting close because, you could see the fire flame, the fire jets going across the screen. And then you either had the option once you finally reached him to either, if you still had the fire power up, you could fireball him to death, or you could jump over or under him if you were, if you timed it correctly. Jump on the,
You wouldn't think that you'd be able to fireball to death a giant creature that breathes fire.
You'd think that, but, again, 5-year-old me didn't care. It was just kill it.
Soft underbelly,
8 worlds,
Joshi.
son.
Soft underbelly.
8 worlds, and he didn't
Well,
think
but-
to not stand on the bridge?
Let's be honest. This was a world where also you ate the mushroom to get bigger, and flowers made you hurl fire, and you were jumping on walking mushrooms.
Hey, that's true
and
to life.
everyday turtles.
That's
so.
true. Yeah, that's true to life.
And grabbing a star makes you invulnerable for about 30 seconds.
Accurate. The science checks out.
Yeah, I mean,
And the bushes and the trees are the same. The bushes and the clouds are the same. It's all a lie.
and, the one world, there were certain levels that really stuck out. You had the first underground level, 1-2, because suddenly you go from this bright, cheery, blue sky, happy, do-do-do-do-do-do, and then you're underground, and suddenly everything's dark, blue, and brooding. Yeah, everything's dark, blue, and brooding, and you have the first warp zone right off the bat in that level, and the idea of a warp zone, you could suddenly advance several worlds into the game.
Don't say you didn't always do that as a kid.
Sometimes I did.
So you mentioned 2-2 in the intro. What was remarkable about that?
Underwater.
Oh, that level.
That was the first of the underwater levels, where you'd be, at when you're 5, you kind of wonder. Even then you're like, how can he breathe? Because, now, again, going back to Sonic, even Sonic had to get air bubbles, otherwise he would drown. Mario apparently had gills, you just couldn't see them.
Or
And of
super
course
oxygenated water.
Of course, it also just simply begun Nintendo's terrible history with terrible water levels.
Yes, because you had the jellyfish that would sort of follow you around, and then anytime you swam over a pit, your speed would just drop tremendously. the different colored fish.
That's actual platform water physics. That makes perfect sense.
Oh yes, I mean again.
And of course, spinning fireballs underwater. Why not?
Yes. Yep, the spinning fireballs underwater. And as you got later and later into the game, the boss levels become more and more complex. You'd have like these sections of the castle where you had to pick a path, and you'd either hear like a burn or like the sound of a coin if you picked up the correct path, which culminated in the final dungeon, the final boss level, where you had not only to go through various castle paths, but you also had to go through, there was an underwater section of that castle, and
pulling all the stops out.
Oh yeah, as I got older, I remember there was this particular area in World, I think it was 8-2, where you had this huge pit you had to clear. You had like this little tiny, several pixel wide platform, and then you had this 8-mile long gap.
The thing that drove me crazy when I actually went and played through the game much later in my life and finished it was somewhere in World 8 are the Hammer Bros, and they're just awful.
Well, yes. I mean, the Hammer Brothers show up earlier. I think they show up in World 4, I think is their first appearance, but...
They're pretty easy to avoid at that point.
Yes, but World 8, they're just like, they're everywhere.
World 8, it's pretty much like every few screen sections, it's one Hammer Bro, if not two. The one that really got me was, I think it was A3, where, like, you know how like A2 had that long gap with that little platform in the middle?
Yep.
A3 has, you do like 5 of those in a row.
Yeah, and that's like, okay, these levels are clearly designed to zap any sort of lives you may have left.
They were designed by someone who hates himself.
So Miyamoto.
and I just want to bring this up too, just for like, these are difficult fact for like, when you're a 5-year-old. They're still difficult now, and like there's the speedrunners that do the speedruns of these. I'm pretty sure someone did a speedrun of Super Mario 1 blindfolded.
What?
It just wrote muscle memory at that point.
Yeah, it's basically a combination of
listening to the sounds.
Yeah, basically just muscle memory and listening to the sounds. And he's got a time like, because of how Super Mario World codes the bad guys, you're pretty much if you are running and you've done it long enough and you know based on like sound and time, like you can pretty much jump past everything and continue the process and just never stop running, period.
That's ridiculous.
And that's pretty much what you do with a speed run. And I don't remember if he was blindfolded for all of it or if it was just for the end the end castle.
Whatever.
There apparently was a Super Mario Run blindfold where he was blind for the whole time. I'm just trying to see what the outcome, how long it took him.
My understanding was that I think he did warp zones on that one, and it was like, I think he died
4
twice.
minutes, 57 seconds?
Sounds about right. I know that's right around, I don't know right around there's a world record. But
the thing that, I did not know in Mario Brothers, which probably would have helped me when I was a little kid, was the fact that anytime you hit the game over screen, it's not an automatic back to the start. If on that game over screen you hit, and this is on the NES controller, A plus start, you start back at the beginning of the world you were last at.
What?
Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, I was
gonna say,
I didn't know this now.
I was gonna say, was this in the manual?
I don't remember if it was in the manual. I figured it out when I had the Game Boy Advance version of the original game. If you hit like A plus start, then so if you die on World 8-3, if you hit A plus start on the game over screen, you start back at 8-1.
Oh my God.
This may have been Game Boy Advance only. I can't imagine this as being in the actual NES console.
I'm gonna take a look at that while I continue to blather on here.
Consult a little Wikipedia on this, because I can't imagine they would have that in an actual NES.
That does sound like a thing they would add in the Game Boy version.
Well, it's how I ended up ultimately beating the game.
Oh, well, you haven't completed the game.
So there. Let's see. Classic NES series, that's the Game Boy Advance. Super Mario Brothers Cheats and Codes from IGN. Okay.
Fact checking. That's what we do on podcasts.
Absolutely.
The number of times
You're
we
right.
consulted Lord Google or Lord Wikipedia on a podcast is gotta be double digits.
Apparently this A plus start thing worked for all versions of the game.
Wow.
I'm going to have to test this.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna need to video proof of this.
I'm gonna have to dig out my copy of Super Mario All Stars and see if that works.
Ridiculous.
So when I found out about that, I was like 19 years old. I was like, "What? What?"
Well, that really makes the effort I went through to play through that game in one sitting really depressing.
And then, well, I mean, if you play the Mario All Stars version, you have the advantage of a save function.
Oh, no, I didn't have that either. I played through the Virtual Console version, which is just the original game.
The original NES, yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
the thing that, as a kid, though, the thing that annoyed me most, the Nintendo, I would be playing Super Mario Brothers, and I was in a sitting, and I'd get really far into it, and then I'd have to we'd go somewhere or something, so I'd pause the game, turn off the TV, come back, and find that the Nintendo glitched.
Froze or overheat or something.
And I'm just like,
see,
"God."
I was never allowed to leave my console on. It was always, oh, the house will burn down.
Or you'll get cancer or something like that.
But you don't understand. I can't save.
Can I just share a quick little story as we're talking about getting through the game and ways you could restart when all your lives died. I know somebody that has yet to get past World 1-1 of Super Mario Brothers. He has yet to get past the second wave of Goombas, if you can call it that.
Did he not find the jump button?
No, the Goombas scare her, so she runs to the left, realizes that the screen doesn't continue going to the left, and then gets eaten by the Goomba.
Oh, no.
Bravo.
So, yeah, just wanted to share that with all.
Very nice.
Excitement there.
Very nice. I mean, and you can play two-player in this game. So I mean, you play as Luigi,
Quote, two-player.
Yeah, you play as Luigi, which was an exact duplicate of Mario, just with a palette swap. It's green instead.
Others.
And so, I mean, they finally start differentiating themselves with Lost Levels, which was the true sequel. It came out in 1986 in Japan. It came out in the U.S. in 1993 as part of the Super Mario All-Stars collection for Super Nintendo. And this game was originally scrapped for U.S. release by Nintendo because they did not want Mario to be known for frustration.
This was
Because they didn't.
Translation: they thought it was too hard for the American audience.
This is something that Japanese companies did a lot.
Say that again, Jeff?
This is something Japanese companies seem to do a lot for a really long time. All the way to the release of Metal Gear Solid 2, they came up with this insanely hard mode, which they called European Extreme, because they believed European players would like hard games. But they didn't give it to Americans because they thought, oh no, Americans, hard games.
Yeah, apparently we developed some sort of stereotype for hating games with a challenge. And yeah, so...
And yet, you got Mega Man 2. I stand by that comment.
Fuck Mega Man 2. Mega Man 1!
I was gonna say you may want to rethink that statement. Mega Man 2 is easy once you get the metal blades.
But you could also add Ninja Gaiden to that argument.
I was gonna say Ninja Gaiden. Jesus, there's people that speedrun that game that still wipe on that game.
I still can't beat it, and I've been trying for 20 years to beat Ninja Gaiden. I can't do it, but Lost Levels plays pretty much. It's the same gameplay as the first Mario Brothers, except that it is much harder. We have the introduction of the poison mushroom.
Now, for those who don't know what the poison mushroom is, on the original NES, is a very slightly color difference between the regular mushroom and the poison mushroom.
Yes.
Whereas in the All-Stars, it's purple and it obviously looks lethal and you should not eat.
Yeah, in the NES version, the difference between the regular mushroom and the poison mushroom is a slightly darker shade of red.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that really works well for colorblind people.
Yeah, you think it's bad that you think it's bad now. Imagine how it was back on like your 1985 CRT TV.
Well, let me tell you, as somebody who has gone through his whole life colorblind and played on a black and white TV, fuck that shit. Just no, that was terrible.
Yeah, that's just all sorts of nope. It's and you know,
and a mushroom, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
Memory serves, they troll you because, like, in Super Mario 1, like World 1-1, the very first question mark box you hit is a mushroom in it. But in Lost Worlds, the very first box you hit is a poison mushroom.
You're correct.
The game just begins with, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Game begins with the first 5 seconds being la 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 la. Ooh, mushroom box. Whoop, why'd I die?
Yeah. And, you know, they make the game harder by making, like, some of the enemies in the first Mario, they place them where you wouldn't expect them, like, the jellyfish are in midair.
Yeah, the jellyfish are flying in midair in, like, World 5-2, I think.
You know, very long strings of spinning fireballs. Lakitu appears underwater. You know, things like that.
Basically, this game is what would nowadays be like an internet mod, where everything just isn't working properly.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, basically.
The only way that I was able to play this is, again, it initially came out in the U.S., 5 years after, 5-6 years after Japan got it. But, in Lost Levels, even Nintendo tries to coddle you in the All-Stars version of the game because unlike Mario 1, 2, and 3 in that collection where you only can save per world,
you save per stage.
In the save file for All-Stars lets you save per stage. So Nintendo still was like, okay, America,
We'll let you have the new bike, but we're going to put training wheels on it.
Almost. So what we got in America in 1988 was a game that looked incredibly so far different than, Mario 1. Although
that's because it was.
That's because it was, yes. But the last thing I'll say about Lost Levels is that, there was a bit of a tactical strategy whether you chose to play as Mario or Luigi. Luigi could jump higher and farther than Mario, but he was far less agile. He could not stop on a dime like Mario could.
Did he have to floaty jump?
No.
That's Peach.
That's Princess Peach in the Super Mario 2 USA version, where suddenly things look very weird. The music is all very different sounding. I mean, Koji Kondo, who has done so many memorable soundtracks for so many Nintendo games, this game was just... I mean, it's Doki Doki Panic. That's the Japanese name. They just repackaged it with Mario characters and said, here you go.
It's funny because I love Mario 2 more than any of the other ones, so basically I don't like Mario games, I guess.
So, you had four characters you could play as, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. All of them have different abilities. Although Princess Peach, let's face it, was probably the most broken character because she could just glide her way through the entire level.
Speedruns of Super Mario 2, you're playing as Peach for 95% of them. I believe there are, 3 stages you play as Luigi, 1 stage you play as Toad. I don't think you touch Mario at all.
There is basically no purpose of playing Mario. He's the worst character.
Yeah, like Luigi
Wasn't
and
he supposed to be the most balanced of the
he
characters
was the
too?
balance, but that doesn't mean jack shit when you have Peach's
Balance just
flotation.
means he's terrible.
Yeah, when Peach floats, Toad runs super fast, I think,
Luigi has a very high jump.
and Luigi had a very high jump. Mario means jack shit.
I think Toad also had like the fastest pickup
Yes.
speed. There's something
Yeah,
like each
I think-
character had their own.
I think Toad ran fastest, had the fastest pickup speed, and had the highest super jump.
But Peach could just float. And
Yeah, Peach just floats, and that's game breaking.
but just about. I mean, in this game, you had life meters so that you could actually take, 2, 3, even sometimes 4 hits if you found all the hearts in the level. You could pick up items, and you collected cherries, and the more cherries you collected, then a star would appear, and just the whole game was weird. And
I mean, it had rudimentary puzzles, like you had to pick up the key and carry it to the door. Stuff
Yes.
that no
The
other
key to
Mario
the
game
door.
does.
and then
while
some
you-
grinning,
Block
and
thing.
then you had some, you pick up a key, and then some grinning circular thing would just chase you.
Some clown mass is chasing you because you don't dislike clowns already.
And and
None of the traditional enemies were inside either. All of a sudden, you had like these weird masked guys and ninja star things and all of that.
yeah,
Get
and-
Shy Guys and Birdo and
yeah, those are their introductions.
Well, that's the kind of weird thing about Mario 2 is it's classified as like the not Mario sequel, but so much of that game has infected the series going on.
Yes, that's very true. I mean, as they just said, you have the introduction of Shy Guys, which carried through. The introduction of Birdo, which was the first official transvestite character, because in the manual for that, Nintendo couldn't actually describe what gender Birdo was. It was kind of like an S''HE. And
We don't need to get specific with gender roles when you're talking about a hoop
a
face.
pink dinosaur that shoots eggs out of its
later,
mouth.
a face hole.
Face holes, the only thing we can think of.
Birdo shoots eggs and later on fireballs out of its face hole.
Yes.
And
And it wears a red ribbon too. Don't forget the red ribbon.
oh yes, absolutely dapper with that ribbon. And
Well, girls got accessorize. Come on.
I mean, and then of course, enemies hated root vegetables. So, and then the final boss is Wart. His name is Wart, and
Giant fat frog.
yep. And then
with a king's cloak and scepter.
yep.
Well, didn't they try? Maybe I remember in one of the manuals somewhere. Didn't they try like passing Wart off as Koopa's brother or some weird relation to Koopa, just to be like a weird kind of connection of the two games? I want to say there's some place that referred to Wart as Bowser's brother, basically.
I honestly don't know.
I could be completely wrong here, but
And the only reason people eat and the reason why all this bullshit funny stuff is going on, it's all a dream.
Yeah, that's when Nintendo broke.
Spoilers.
spoilers.
This game is almost 30 years old. I think the statute of limitations has.
Hey, I haven't finished it.
Well, too bad.
Yeah, too bad. Spoilers.
Too bad.
Crap.
But whatever the case, and oh yes, and if you collected coins, at the end of each level, you'd get to play a slot machine to try to earn more lives.
Because their
Gambling.
lives were hard to get into, but they were definitely, US too, I should say. But they're definitely, if you knew what you were doing, you could get them all pretty quickly.
You could. So that and Super Mario 2 it was weird, but I enjoyed it. It was just
By
weird.
weird, you mean the best game.
You mean the absolute greatest game ever. So, then we move on to my favorite of the classic NES Mario games, Super Mario 3, which I think was at the time, for a long time, it was the best-selling game of all time, but then again, it was the numbers are skewed because it came with the damn console in 1990 when it came out. And, this game introduced more, Mario staples. It introduced, like, the world map format of levels. You had the ability to store power-ups for later use. Like, you would have, like, the little sort of mini levels where you go into, like, one of Toad's house, and then you had 3 chests, and you pick a chest, and one of them contain power-ups that you would just pocket for later.
Memory serves introduced the raccoon suit, the tanuki suit, the frog suit, and the hammer suit? Or was hammer not in this one?
No, I think there was a hammer suit in this one.
Let's see.
And then you had your usual power pickup of the fire flower, and then I think you could even also store invincibility. You can store a star.
Yeah, you could store any power up in there in your storage, and including warp whistles.
Yeah.
Although warp whistles you had to dig to find. Those were not
given to you.
Those were not given to you.
Yes. Yeah, and for those unaware, warp whistle was similar to warp zone, only it was random where you went to. So you could, in theory, pick up a warp whistle and stay. I believe it's the castle stage in World 1, like the very first mini boss castle, and you could warp to 8-1 from like basically 1-3 to 8-1.
Probably not a good idea, but you could.
And then there's also a case where you can warp backwards too, which is a little awkward.
Yeah,
you want to go backwards in levels.
If you wanted to. I mean, this game also, introduced. Each world had a theme. World 1 was your, typical Mario-looking, bright, cheery level.
Mushroom Kingdom.
World 2 was desert.
And every world too since then has been a desert.
World 3 was water, but was it all underwater, or was it mostly underwater?
Not all underwater. Some of it was above water, but water was a major component because World 3 introduced that big jumping fish.
Yeah, the big fish.
The big fish that was.
I think it's called Big Fish.
Yeah.
Imaginative name.
World 4 was.
I forget. I know the one that sticks. The two that stick out to me the most was the one where everything was giant.
World
Giant
6.
World is the best.
Giant World, yeah.
World 6 is Giant World. World 5, I think, is Ice.
And then one of them was like you go. It's like half on the ground and half in the sky.
I think World 7 was that one.
Well, apparently there was, according to the Super Mario Wiki, World 1 was Grassland, World 2 was Desertland, World 3 was Waterland, World 4 was Giantland, World 5 was Skyland, 6 was Iceland, 7 was Pipeland, 8 was
Yes.
Darkland,
Pipeline. I forgot Pipeline. My bad.
yeah, and then 9 was Warp Zone.
Yeah.
World 8 was just Bowser everything.
World 8 in Mario 3 is bloody brutal.
Yeah.
I've got there so many times, and I could never get through it.
Here's where I'm going to introduce my story.
It's story time!
Story time with Ron. Story time with Ron. So, I have Super Mario 3 as a... Let's see, how old was I when I did this? 8-year-old. I was 8-year-old Ron on the NES playing Super Mario 3. And I had gotten the day off from school for a parent-teacher conference. So I said, because all my homework is done, I'm going to spend from when I wake up to whenever I die, basically, playing Super Mario 3. And previously, I had tried using the warp whistle because I found that relatively early on. And I said, no, screw that. I'm actually going to go through and beat every individual world. So I went from World 1 all the way to Bowser's Castle. I get to Bowser. I am fighting Bowser. I'm going to see where this is going. I hit Bowser for what is supposed to be the last time, and the console freezes.
Called it.
Shit.
Bowser's falling off the screen, but because the console froze, I have not officially beaten the game and saved Peach.
And that
at
was
this
the moment.
point in time, and mind you, I've been playing since about 8 a.m. and it's probably 6 p.m. at night.
And at this point, 8-year-old Ron broke his NES in rage.
No.
No.
8-year-old Ron thought carefully about this and said, "Well, the game froze. I didn't die," and kept playing.
No, I gave it till after dinner because dinner was about to occur. So I gave it to after dinner to see if it would unfreeze itself. It didn't. I said in my 8-year-old mind, "Screw this, I'm done." Turned the console off.
Well, you can try to redeem yourself. I mean, Mario 3 is very widely available, even with save functions. And
I'm going to take the fact that Bowser was falling off the screen as me beating the game.
you just never got to see the credits.
Yes.
So you never went back?
No. I played it for All Stars just for nostalgia's sake, but I've never gone tried to be a serious playthrough of it. Because I can't. Because I can't handle a 10-hour sit through of that game again.
But this time you can do it in pieces. You don't have to sit for 10 hours at a stretch.
Bullshit! I'm doing this all in one block.
Of course you would. So, I used to play with because you can play multiplayer on this game, and unlike the previous games, you can actually leave your fellow player in the dust because, it's not, okay, one person goes, then another person. You just keep going until you die. And, you could be on World 3 by the time, you die, and then suddenly it goes back to, World 1, and Player 2 gets a crack.
Oh, God.
Although, if at any point on the world map, Mario and Luigi were occupying the same spot and somebody hit, start, I think it was start, it would take you to, a versus screen. You remember the arcade game called Mario Brothers, where it was just pipes and enemies coming out of the pipes, and you had to, hit them under the platform and then knock them off?
Meanwhile, you've got...
it had that one power block in the center of the screen.
As Goomba's walking across, and Koopas, and I think Shy Guys too, are shooting stuff at you.
And whoever won that versus battle would then take control of the board.
Yeah.
So, but that game was so much fun. I had such good memories playing that game. But at that then because my parents thought that video games were the cause of all antisocial and rebellious tendencies and would turn you into a root vegetable. I never could sit for 10 hours at a stretch playing a game. It was 1 hour. That's it. You can't beat this in an hour unless you, warped your way through and managed to get through World 8 like nothing.
Get through World 8 on, probably 2 or 3 lives with no stored power-ups or very little stored power-ups. Yeah, good luck.
Basically.
I remember that game, playing it through trying to play all of it in one night with my brother, and stumbling along the great hidden thing, and I think it's World 1-3 there, where you can fall behind.
Yeah,
the background.
you had to crouch for a certain number of seconds before you slip behind it.
Yeah, that's the one. It's just oh my God, what did you do?
As a kid,
you broke the game.
Yeah, as a kid, though, the one thing that scared the shit out of me in Mario 3 were the levels that automatically moved forward.
Yeah, those ones were annoying.
Because suddenly you're like, oh shit, now it's a test of reflexes.
That crap is the worst.
Because, while you could, unlike Mario 1, actually go back in a level, you weren't stuck there when you tried to go back. Those levels where the level just automatically progressed forward. It was like, oh crap, gotta move. And at the, I remember at the end of each level, you'd have to, time your jump carefully to get that card, because if you got 3 of the same one in a row, you'd get extra power, you get extra lives.
Yeah. Memory serves, I got through most of when I did my playthrough as the 8-year-old Ron. I got most of my lives in the first 3 or 4 worlds, and then from pretty much 5 through 8, I basically just threw billions of Mario lives at the screen until it got me to World 8.
Well, the game is actually designed like that. They load up on extra lives and mushrooms early on.
Yeah.
It was deliberately designed like that. Also, a level that also scared the shit out of me as a kid was the desert world where the sun chases you.
With the sun. 2-3, I think it is.
It
or
didn't-
2-1 does 2-1. I think it's right away.
It didn't have a number. It was just a block of moving sand on the world map. It didn't have a number.
Okay. Then I remember the sun chased you a couple times in World 2, though. And one of them was the sand moving block, but I think the other one was just before the Koopa Jr. airship. Will the sun chase you as well?
I don't remember. I might have to go back and play it.
I have to go back and look too myself. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure there's another part where the sun chases you.
It's like I've got Mario All Stars. Why not? Let's just go back and play it. But
That guy was the stuff of nightmares.
it was, and even the end of World Boss where you get on the ship. Oh my God! All the projectiles that just fly.
Yeah. Projectiles on an auto-scroller do things that should not mix.
Suddenly,
Now, I can't believe that anyone can play this game blindfolded.
No, to my understanding, no one's attempted this blindfolded. I believe the world record of Super Mario 3 is with Warp Whistle. I think it's a half hour. I could be wrong though.
But even then, I mean, this was my favorite of the classic NES games. So, for the purposes of our little anniversary series, we're going to largely stick to the main Mario Brothers franchise. We are going to devote an episode to most of the various offshoots, like Dr. Mario and
A quality video game.
About Mario's Missing.
Mario is Missing, Luigi's Mansion, things like that. But for the purposes of these first couple of Mario anniversary episodes, we're going to stick primarily to the main series. So, I mean, those were pretty much it for the NES. So, unless you guys have any additional thoughts you'd like to add, I'm going to stop the first half here. I see. Got it. All right.
I do want to say this. If you guys do want to go back and play any of the Marios, I actually would recommend All Stars because you do get a slight graphical upgrade, which does help out a fair bit, and the difficulty change is very minimal.
That's very true.
The only change is going to be the Lost Worlds Poison Mushroom thing, and that's the only major one I can think of.
Yeah, where they actually make it purple.
It's not like the GBA releases where they gave the characters annoying voices.
Yeah, they're voiceless.
And in Mario All Stars, you get the advantage of save functionality. So you do not have to necessarily rage quit.
When your system freezes and dies on you.
Yeah. And Mario All Stars, it came out for the Super Nintendo, but it is also out for the Wii. So that's.
Can you still get it for the Wii?
I know Nintendo deliberately made that a limited edition, which I thought was really stupid of them.
You might still be on Virtual Console, to be completely honest.
Super Mario.
Well, I mean, even the Virtual Console. I thought Nintendo for the regular Wii, not the Wii U, but the regular Wii. I thought Nintendo stopped Virtual Console services.
I thought they did too, to be completely honest.
Super Mario All Stars, you can get the Wii version. It's available. Nobody, you're not going to find it in GameStop or anything unless you find it used. You can find it. I'm looking at Amazon right now. There are third-party sellers that do sell new copies of this game for the lowest I see is $65.
Nice.
Which is actually not that terrible.
Not that well. It does come with a soundtrack containing themes from the classic games. So
Again, like I said, not that terrible.
yeah, that's better than like what Chrono Trigger goes for. So
The Chrono Trigger's like $120 for a used copy or something like that.
at least. So on the second half of our season premiere here, celebrating Mario Brothers, we're going to talk about the Game Boy games, the original Game Boy games. Mario makes his debut on the handheld consoles. That is going to be on our second half, but in the meantime, you're going to have some music, as is the custom. Something from Mario, as befits the theme. Because I'm not
Do
going
the Mario?
do the Mario.
Oh my god.
Oh, that
Yes.
maybe if I find it, maybe that's a maybe. I'll because I don't decide what I put down for music until I start editing these things. So it's a complete surprise to everybody.
Well, screw you guys. I'm just going to listen to it now.
So there. So that's on our second half. So you're listening to episode 1 of season 5 of Downloadable Content. We'll be back. welcome back to our season premiere of downloadable content. Everyone is still here. They haven't been shrunk or eating poison mushrooms or, got got a hammer thrown at them or...
We got sidetracked in World 7, though. All those tunnels, man. So many tunnels.
So many pipes, I know. So many pipes. So, on our second half of this episode, we've spoke about the NES games. Let's shift to the portable, the handheld, the Game Boy. The original Game Boy, the nice, the smaller gray cinder block.
The colorblind friendly games.
Yes. Right up.
Hey!
Hey.
That's perfect for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Reid. I mean, that means you don't, without the absence of color. There's nothing to worry about. You don't have to try to discern slightly different shades of red to determine whether that mushroom will kill you or make you bigger.
Yeah, which is great when I don't see red. May I just say too that the biggest just FU that Nintendo ever gave me was when the Game Boy Color came out, and then there was games you could only get that would only work on the Game Boy cover. It's like, no. I love my gray universe.
So you never touched the Virtual Boy then?
Oh, no, I did. Virtual Boy didn't bother me. That was mostly browns and blacks in my view. So I loved the Virtual Boy.
Oh, good. You might be person number one that I know who actually...
Nobody liked the Virtual Boy.
Nobody liked
Get
the Virtual
out.
Boy, except for colorblind people,
I'll
apparently.
say the problem with the Virtual Boy is the fact that you had to set it up on TV, or not on TV, on like a table or something, then lean forward into it, and then actually have to play that game for the next, 3 to 7 hours.
I don't
with your
see
neck
what you're
being
complaining
perfectly
about.
still.
Yeah. Well, just
I don't see what the problem is.
I don't see what the problem is.
No, the problem with the Virtual Boy was the random headaches and nosebleeds I had after playing. Never quite understood those.
All right. Well, this game could cause...
Well, that was the horrific radiation it was emitting.
I was going to say that was the infrared lines and the eye strain.
No problem there. I mean, Nintendo has a history of causing physical injury. Take the first Mario Party, for example. So, moving right along, we go to 1989 with Super Mario Land. Mario's introduction on the handheld, which was the introduction of Princess Daisy.
Now, I've never played this game, so tell me all. Who the hell is this Daisy bitch?
Daisy's a much more competent character than Peach ever was, but she is the princess of a mystical land called Sarasaland. However you pronounce that, I still...
Sasaraland?
Sarasaland? Well,
Sassafras.
Sassafras Land. I have no fucking clue. But this game, in terms of story, it's like, this does not take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. This takes place in Sassafras, Sarsaparilla Land, and
Do they not have colour in Sarsaparilla Land?
apparently not. Except for the box art.
I found my homeland.
Except for the box art. So no Bowser of any kind, no Koopalings, nothing. This is
So she doesn't manage to get captured by somebody.
Oh, she's captured, but the final
Oh, of course she is.
the final boss is named Tatanga, who is the mysterious spaceman. He's an alien.
Because, what Mario game doesn't need aliens in it?
Apparently, but we have some major differences. For example, this game only has 4 worlds instead of its usual 8.
They could only
Cartridge
get half a game
limitations.
with that cartridge.
And the power-ups were a little different. You still had the mushroom, but the fire flower didn't spew fire. It enabled you to throw, like, they call them super balls, and these were so annoying because they would bounce at a 45-degree angle. However, they could ricochet off of everything.
Yes, I do remember playing Super Mario 3, or sorry, Land, and this was the fireball was definitely a bit more interesting in this game.
Although, I do remember that you could use the quote fireball to actually collect coins.
Yep. That was like the one major benefit of it is I see that coin out there you can't get. Well, just throw a fireball off the screen or something like that, and get about 5 seconds. It'll bounce back and collect it for you.
So,
Looking at the screenshots, I love that Goombas are like 4 pixels.
Yeah.
yeah.
Goombas are 4 pixels. Little Mario's about the same size as a Goomba.
Uh-huh. And I remember that at the end of like the first 2 levels of each world, you either had your choice of the top or bottom exit. If you got to the top, you then go to a bonus level in which you could earn between 1 and 3 extra lives and a power-up. If you took the bottom exit, then the game just kept going as normally. But each world had a particular theme. Your first world was your, typical Mario-looking land. Second world was a bit on the water side. World 3 was some sort of take on Easter Island. And the fourth world was suddenly you're in, Japan.
Because why not?
Like ancient Japan with appropriate sounding stereotypical music.
I guess Sarsaparilla Land is just Asia.
Or it could be Inglaterra, Poland or something. I don't know. But in 2 of the boss levels, I remember this. In World 2, Mario gets to pilot a submarine. Well, a one-person submarine. And the funny part is that the submarine grew or shrank depending whether Mario got a mushroom or not, or got hit. But he would be constantly firing torpedoes, and you'd use that for the boss. And in the fourth world, the final world, Mario was flying an airplane.
The airplane.
Yes, which you'd use to fight not only the boss of World 4, which was this cloud that spewed what looked like chickens at you, but also for the final boss himself. And I got so good at this game that I can still beat this game in under half an hour from start to finish. So it's a pretty short game, even when you're not speed running it. But yes, after you beat Tatanga and you save the citizens of Saprasota Land, you get Daisy, and Daisy and Mario fly off into the credits. So there was also a hard mode of this game. Yeah, there was a hard mode which I never bothered with. It was just like, okay.
How did you? Was that like? Did you have to beat the game to unlock a hard mode?
You had to beat
remember that.
You had to beat it, but I don't remember. Yes, you had to beat the game, and then you had the option, like at the title screen, to play in hard mode. As opposed to like Kirby's Dream Land, where you had to hit like A and start or something after you beat it to get into hard mode.
Isn't Mario flying off into the credits with Daisy kind of cheating on Peach?
Different land, different princess. It's a different zip code. Doesn't count.
What happens at Sassafras Land stays in Sassafras Land.
Is this the dark part of the Mario story where he begins his affair?
Yeah, I mean, Mario and Daisy in Summer Sausage Land, I have no idea. It's... that's why now in most Mario games you see Daisy kind of paired off with Luigi.
Oh, I see.
Because
she got confused when she went into Color Land.
Apparently, yes.
Thought that was Mario.
She's colorblind too, that's all.
Because you can't really have, the plumber pimp, I guess. That's bad form. So, I guess not. But, when I was...
Question. Who's Rosalina gonna get paired with then?
Wario, I guess.
I'm... No comment. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, this game was, for me, a lot of fun. It is actually out on the 3DS Virtual Console. if you want to play it. I played this game and beat it so many times. I still enjoy it, even with the fact of the weird plot and the Sassafras land and the what have you. So, am I the only one of this group who's actually played it?
No, I played it. I beat it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it for hours on end, multiple times. Loved it. I mean, for being basically a Game Boy response to wanting to have a Mario game, it was fantastic for what it offered.
It was, but my favorite of the Mario Land games was Mario Land 2.
Now, 2 was amazing.
Legend of the Coins, or
6 golden
no,
coins.
what was 6 golden coins?
6 golden coins. This was the game. It came out in 1992. This was the game that introduced Wario.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I may have actually played this. Was one of the power-ups in there like a rabbit headband thingy that made Mario jump super high?
Yes, and also you could glide with the.
Yeah. Okay. So I did play this one then.
Yep.
It was basically the raccoon tail from Mario 3, except instead of tail ears, it was just bunny ears.
Yep.
Okay, I did play this one. I think I even beat it, if memory serves me.
This is the game with the open world map where you had to go between the different little worlds on the map, collecting the big coin from each to unlock the final area.
Yep, you needed that. Was there were 6 different worlds or area zones they called them.
The moon level was clearly the best.
The space zone, yes.
Wasn't the plot basically something like Mario returned from Sarah's land to his own castle and found out it was overtaken by Wario?
Close! According to Wiki, this game immediately follows Super Mario Land, and so while Mario was away in Sassafras Land, Wario put an evil spell over Mario's world, which was called, incidentally, Mario Land, and brainwashing its inhabitants into believing that Wario is their master and Mario is their enemy. Wario's motive behind this sudden attack was to take control of Mario's castle to have a palace of his own. After traveling through Mario Land and collecting the 6 golden coins, Mario regains entry to his castle, and of course he enters and defeats Wario, who flees, breaking the spell.
So in this game, crucial for the next game, we discuss Wario is the bad guy.
Yes.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Why do you have 6 coins being the key to your castle?
Why wouldn't you? It's a perfectly logical security system.
Oh my god.
That must make the coins that Mario collects throughout each level not the golden coins.
The real question is, how did Wario get in?
He probably snuck away through a portal or something.
I was gonna say because I could see Mario leaving his door unlocked.
Well, there's probably just a back door that Mario decided not to use.
Oh, here's an interesting theory. Luigi, pissed off at his brother's fame and fortune,
let Wario in.
There. That's an interesting thought. Luigi, pissed off at Mario for Mario getting all the women and all the coin and all the glory, left the castle door unlocked so Wario could come in and cause havoc.
Goddamn Luigi, always fucking things up.
Well, I mean, I like this game. I mean, this game was so much longer. I mean, according to Wiki, this game was 4 megabits, which was apparently made it one of the largest games on the Game Boy.
I was gonna say that's pretty big for a Game Boy. Jesus,
it was.
I don't even think Pokemon's that big.
It was 8 times larger than Mario Land, the first one.
Wow.
It was also very pretty compared to Mario Land.
I was gonna say, wasn't 2 pretty detailed too compared to 1's literal 2-bit look?
I mean, if you take a look at screenshots of 6 golden coins, Mario. I mean, just the Mario figure. Even when he's small, is incredibly detailed, as opposed to these little pixely shits that you got from the first.
They worked out how to do actual graphics on the Game Boy.
Yes! Yes, they did. And, I mean, you had... I'm trying to remember some of the zones. You had the space zone, you had the tree zone, you had the toy zone.
Norris was a zone.
Say that again?
There was the Halloween zone.
Yep, there was the micro zone. I remember that.
There was the turtle guy in the corner.
Yes! I forget what the name of that zone was. And, you could... There was this area that I think that was kind of... You could get extra lives or power-ups. It was like one of those claw things that you find in restaurants.
The claw game.
Yeah. And, just overall... And Wario's castle itself was an actual challenge. That took me a while to beat. That was a challenge. That was because you had these massive, these huge statues that launched these massive fireballs. You had these thwomp-looking things everywhere. And, yes, the tree zone, the space zone, the macro zone, the pumpkin zone, the turtle zone, and the Mario zone.
What was Mario zone?
Was
that the castle?
The Mario zone.
It was a giant statue of Mario.
Yeah, that's
God, that guy's got such an ego.
I know. I mean, you've got Mario zone. I call that quote the toy zone because there was a lot of like toy-looking enemies.
Oh yes.
And I remember the boss for that. They were like a take on the Three Little Pigs.
Oh yeah,
Of
they
course.
came out of their houses, didn't they? Come charging at you.
Yes. And when you finally got to Wario, I mean, you have this great big fat-looking thing, and even as Mario, you're still relatively small compared to him. And he took 9 hits. Because you'd go Wario. That battle was 3 different parts. It'd start off with regular Wario, and then Wario would get a power up, and then you'd hit him 3 more times, and then the final part I remember because they had this dramatic music as Wario got the fire flower, and then once you finally hit him, the required amount of times, he would then devolve into like this sniveling baby and then just jump and flee the castle.
Wario didn't deserve any of this.
No, he didn't. That game is...
I remember Nah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this game's also out on the 3DS Virtual Console, so...
I was gonna say, I remember when it was coming out, they had in Nintendo Power magazine, they had like a comic script basically trying to explain Wario, and they basically in the script he was supposed to be like Mario's childhood friend, and Mario was always something of like a dick to him basically, so hence why he's looking to get his revenge.
They didn't explain him as, well, you see, we took Mario, and then we reversed the M. And you can see what we did here, guys.
Shh!
No,
They're not supposed
they didn't.
That's
want
not what it is
solution.
in Japanese, right? It means something else in Japan, right?
It might be. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, then, years later we would get Waluigi. Which was another, see what we did there. But,
Just wait for the Toadstool character.
this was also the first of the Mario games. Because this came out before Mario All-Stars. This is the first game to have a save function.
Hey.
And also, if you remember, if you hit select on the screen where you picked which game you wanted to load, if you hit select, it would take you to easy mode.
Huh.
I don't know if you remember the easy mode in that game, but I certainly do.
I don't remember an easy mode at all.
Yeah, I didn't know it. It was an accident. I'm like, easy mode? There's an easy mode?
Oh my god. So, you'd assume Wario's name was based on turning the M in Mario's name upside down. But this isn't entirely the case. The Japanese word for bad is Waoyu. I don't know how you pronounce that. So Wario is actually a shortened version of Wowie Mario, Bad Mario. This is also the case for Waluigi, Bad Luigi, and works even better in Japan, where his name is pronounced Waluigi. There you go.
There you go.
Fact-checking.
There you go. Original research and fact checking as only you can get on downloadable content.
We're adding to your cultural knowledge.
Yes, this very fine.
So they didn't just flip the M into a W, although it really looks like they did.
Thank you, our resident cynic. Well done on this very fine, sophisticated program. And the last game that we will discuss in this episode
Is not really a Mario game.
It actually really isn't, because
They just put the name on it, like, this will make it sell.
yeah, Wario Land, which they had the nerve to stick on Super Mario Land 3, even though Mario is nowhere in it.
And it spawns an entirely separate series of Wario Land games.
Yes, this starts the Wario Land series, but again, I played it and finished it. This game was kind of odd in the fact that the object of the game, I mean, there is a main antagonist. But, there's no princess that needs to be saved. There's no world to save, no major peril. The object of the game is simply for you playing as Wario to collect as much coin as you possibly could.
He's
Kill
got
this
some sticky
countryside.
fingers.
Because why the hell not?
It's just collect as much coin because this game, Wario, actually determines your ending.
That isn't it. If I can't remember the details, but this game begins with Mario dropping a giant statue of himself and just being a total dick.
I'm trying to think. I mean, according to the Super Mario Wiki, the plot of this, and a very tenuous one at that. Desiring to replace or restore the castle he lost to Mario in Super Mario Land 2, Wario sets out to steal a golden statue of Princess Toadstool from the Brown Sugar Pirates and Captain Syrup, which he then intends to ransom for the money to buy his own castle. Along the way, he collects or steals any other coins and treasures he finds or knocks out of enemies. The game is spent navigating a number of levels to reclaim lost treasures, and has a significant level of replayability due to the branched path that many of the levels take. In the end, Captain Syrup, revealed to be female, which was hidden in the instruction manual, is defeated while Wario ultimately gets anything from a birdhouse to an actual planet or moon for himself, based on the amount of treasure he collects during the game.
So the whole plot of the game is he went into Mario's castle, then got kicked out of Mario's castle, is salty about it, and says, "Fuck you, I'm going to build my own castle with hookers and blackjack."
Yes!
So he's Bender.
Yes, John, that is the game in a nutshell.
That's a pretty Wario thing to do.
I was like, that sounds like Wario, actually.
Just remember all the commercials for the second or third one with Wario just staring all crazy-eyed and greed is good. That's the message. The message of the Wario games.
I was going to say, the message of the Wario game is greed is good, so be a Republican, I guess.
So, yes. So yeah, that's basically it, Ron, in a nutshell. Wario gets pissed because he gets kicked out of Mario's castle, and then decides...
Hey, Mario left a door open. Come on.
Well, Luigi did, while Mario was off in Sassafras Land, so...
This plot is so complicated. Can't keep track of it.
I mean, I played this game, and one of my friends, I remember this clearly, the friend who I borrowed it from, informed me of a particular cheat that this game has. And I think they removed the cheat for the Virtual Console version of the game. but in the original Game Boy version, if you pause the game and then you press select, I think it was 16 times, a cursor appears over the lives, the timer, or the coins. And then what you would do is you would hold A or B, either one worked, and press left or right to move the box over a number. And you could increase the amount of lives, time, and coins you had. So you could 999 everything at the end of every level. And so the game would so that every time the game totaled up how much coin you had max coin every level.
Nice.
So at the end of the game, I remember this. The total amount of money you got would then be it would be on a scale of 1 to 6 money bags. And the more money bags you had, the better Wario's abode would be. So if you didn't get much treasure, you'd get 1 money bag or 2 money bags. 1 money bag got you a birdhouse. 2 money bags got you a tree trunk. 3 got you a log cabin. 4 got you a pagoda. 5 got you the castle. And 6 got you a planet.
I love the absurd scale of how it goes from castle to planet.
To get the planet, you needed 99,999 total coins, all 15 treasures found, and beaten every single level in the game.
This is basically the origin story of Scrooge McDuck.
And I could see Wario and Scrooge McDuck sliding down piles of gold.
Yeah.
Or taking a swan dive off their springboard into the vault of literal piles of gold.
At this rate, they're going to put Gringotts out of business. It's
So Wario Land was actually really weird, considering it's named a Mario game. Because even like in Super Mario Land 1, where you were saying, oh, the fireball is a bit weird, like, this game plays nothing like a Mario game. It's like all the physics and his sizing and how he interacts and smashes blocks and how it has checkpoints. It's all just completely different.
Oh yeah. This is a very weird sort of game. I mean, it's still a platformer, but the power.
But it's a platformer like Donkey Kong is a platformer, but Donkey Kong is not Mario.
No. And the power-ups that Wario gets, he can transform into like a bull. Then you have like Dragon Wario, which, he wears this dragon hat and fire spews out.
It's a pretty pimp hat.
Jet Wario. And by obtaining a jet pot, suddenly he becomes
a fighter jet?
He becomes like the Rocketeer.
Jeez.
And then, of course, you just have regular, plain old, Wario without power-up. But, I mean, this game was, for me, largely forgettable. I beat it once, and I'm like, I was just, alright. Not really anything special. But, so it goes.
Pretty much. I remember playing more, and you guys may laugh at me for it, but I remember playing a lot more of the Virtual Boy Wario game than the traditional Game Boy one.
You just can't stop pimping that Virtual Boy, can you?
No,
even after your professed nosebleeding headache, you still gotta play that thing, huh?
It nearly killed me, but boy, have you heard of this Virtual Boy?
It's going to be a big deal, guys. You should really get on it now. It's going to be the next big console. I swear.
Well, I'm convinced.
Sold! So, and this game is also out on the 3DS Virtual Console, so, I mean, if you want to exercise your inner greedy demon, I mean, go right ahead. Or if you're, Republican. So, be that as it may, and that's
Wario.
it. And those are the main games from the NES and the Game Boy. So I think we've pretty much covered it all.
What about Mario's appearance in Punch-Out?
Yes, that's when Mario moonlights as a boxing ref. And he doesn't have a voice yet, so I mean, in Punch Out, all he sounds, just that's just a series of noise.
So he's
And
one of the
how we
Martians.
wish he
Mars
stayed like
attack.
that.
And why doesn't Mario take on any of those characters in Punch Out? But anyway, so I mean, that's really it. I mean, on the next Mario episode we're going to talk about the Super Nintendo games, and we're also going to talk about the slim pickings. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot in the main Mario Brothers series on the N64 and the GameCube. There was kind of like a period of 5 or 6 years where he wasn't even on any handheld. And
I was gonna say, because it's Super Mario World, 7 Stars, 64, Sunshine.
And then we get to the DS and the Wii, and then it explodes again.
Yeah.
Guys,
We did the DS.
a lot of sports playing and go-karting. And
Yeah. Tennis and Mario Party and Mario Kart.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, those are the offshoots. I mean, we're going to definitely devote an episode to that. But, I mean, just in the main Mario series, I mean, after Super Nintendo, you don't see a whole lot of Mario, at least in the main Mario Brothers franchise. But I think you're right. It's because it's during those years where Nintendo decided, well, let's give Mario some other jobs. Let's make him a tennis player, a soccer player, a golf player.
Don't forget the RPGs.
Yep, baseball. Yes, he's in several RPGs. You have the Paper Mario series. So we have plenty to talk about as the year progresses. But I think we've done a good job starting off on this bit of nostalgia. Remembering our inner, our 5-year-old selves. And realizing the fact that we could only beat these games as adults.
And I'm glad after that 2-hour discussion we could all agree that Sonic CD is the worst Sonic game.
That's the moral. That's the moral of the story.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, hang on. I got lumped in with you cretins. I couldn't beat a Mario game before they were 20. I beat 3.
And he's sticking by that, damn it!
Exactly.
You did not finish that game.
he's like, no, at 8 years...
Classy. Liar.
He's gonna take that to his grave. It's gonna be on Ron's tombstone.
I will.
I beat Mario 3, damn it! And then, I'm probably just gonna put, like, a cartridge of Mario 3 on his grave, just to accent it. Just for
with one of those little eternal candles right above it,
Yes.
always burning.
Ron, 19 whatever to 2015, never completed Mario 3.
So, do we have any final thoughts about any of the games we discussed on this episode, or are we going to put this episode to bed? Actually, we do. Ben really wanted to be in this episode, but he couldn't. So, he recorded a little blurb, and I'm going to add it right here. See what he has to say on the subject. Take it away, Ben.
Having been born in 1985 and being an avid game player for my whole life, I've literally grown up alongside Mario, Jumpman, Mario. And while it's been fun to watch the portly plumber take turns as, among other things, a referee, a multi-sport athlete, a hotel manager, a go-karter, a glorified window washer, and even an interstellar explorer, all of which I'm sure will be discussed in future episodes, today we celebrate his first few adventures on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Looking back at that first game, Super Mario Bros., there was obviously something special about this guy. Based on his relative size and weight, and the enormity of the world, it was obvious that he shouldn't have had the physical skills to get through the first few levels or so, much less all 8 worlds. But that Mario keeps on running and jumping is a testament to both his skills, and more importantly to his dedication. At least that's what 30-year-old me can say with my knowledge of the real world and all. But 5-year-old me? He just loved the simple joy of taking this one little guy on a whole big adventure. He's an underdog with almost no advantages, and yet here he is taking on the whole world by himself. It's easy to see why we all fell in love with this game. Perfect controls, a game that's tough but fair, and rules that make perfect sense after just one go-around. I never really got into Super Mario Bros. 2, for a variety of reasons, one of which was never owning a copy. But I can vividly remember when Super Mario Bros. 3 was coming out. The graphics blew me away, and the raccoon feather is still one of my favorite Mario power-ups. I even remember a few secret spots from both of these games, and my phone ringtone is frequently level music from the third game. There isn't much that hasn't already been said about Super Mario Bros. 3, so I'll just add that it's my favorite Mario game behind only the first Mario Galaxy. It was just such a wonderfully complete package. It really hasn't ever been topped in Nintendo's pantheon as far as I'm concerned. Mario and Nintendo were such strong influences of my childhood that I'll still play a semi-broken or nonsensical game as long as it's fun. Mario's impact and importance to this industry cannot be overstated, and it's been tremendous fun to watch him transform from a random everyman to the jack-of-all-trades he's become. Even to this day, when the core gameplay hasn't changed that much, I still get excited about a new 3D Mario game. And so, to add to the celebration of a beloved icon's 30th anniversary, let me offer this one somewhat embarrassing admission. When I was younger, if someone would ask me if I liked platform games, I would tell them I didn't know what they were. Not because I didn't get the concept of jumping between level platforms, but to me, all platform games were just Mario games. There were other games, like sports games and fighting games and shooting games, and Mario games were just one of those genres. Even something like Sonic the Hedgehog was still known to me as a Mario game. The concept of platforming was so intrinsically tied to the man himself that the entire genre bore his name. And I wasn't the only one. A lot of my friends from elementary school used to describe platform titles as Mario games. So how's that for an influence?
And there you go. Very well said, Ben. Wish you could have been on this episode. Had fun.
Mario's pretty cool, yo.
He's just this guy, you know.
If you want an
Mario
idea of
2.
Nintendo hard, play one or lost levels.
Yes.
It's all about
Not on
the real
All Stars.
Mario 2.
Don't use the save function.
You know, being a plumber, I'd expect him to have an easier time with any water-themed levels.
You'd
but,
think that.
yeah,
You'd think that would be his forte, but no.
Maybe that's how he breathes underwater. He's got special plumbing gear that just couldn't be seen on the 8-bit limited graphics.
That's possible. I mean, you don't have that fine level of detail that you get in, later games. Or even the
He's
Game
too
Boy.
high on all those mushrooms.
That's distinct possibility. So,
It explains everything, including Wario.
So, if anyone out there on the wide world of the internet has any thoughts, questions, comments on this episode or any other episode of downloadable content, or you want to be in a future episode of downloadable content, you can let us know at facebook.com/dlcontent, or at Twitter at dlcontent, or Tumblr, dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, or through email at dlcontent1@gmail.com. And as always, downloadable content can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. So there we go. All the different ways for downloadable content to get into your ears. And, as Joshy said at the beginning, it's on the internet.
Have you heard of this internet business?
Have you
I hear it's trending upwards.
It could be.
it's a series of pipes. I hear that Mario knows a lot about them. So
Hashtag internet.
Yes. So that is how Season 5 is going to begin, and so I would like to thank Ron, Reid, and Joshy for joining me on our inaugural episode for Season 5. So
I'll
again,
see you at E3.
yes, go back into your freezer, and we will see you then, and for the rest of you, we will see you pretty soon. I'm Brian. Have a good one, everybody.